He was funny, he was stubborn, he was very independent but dependent at the same time. And we loved him.
Cheese? You can say cheese if you want to. Cheese. How did Grandpa make you laugh, Abby? Right? And that made you laugh so much. And what happened when something broke around the house? What happened when something broke? What'd you do? The toy broke?
And Grandpa broke too.
Oh, Grandpa broke too, yeah. But he used to fix all your toys, didn't he? Every time something broke, you said, what? Grandpa will fix it, right? Yeah.
We go back too long for me to remember anything special, Tom. You were a friend. Like friends never were. Period.
Tommy was unique. He was a special kind of guy. If you ever wanted a friend, you wanted Tommy as your friend. Right? He was the biggest buster in the world, next to me, because I claim the right to be number one. But he was good.
The only thing I have to say is when I read the obituary, and I already said it to the family, when I read the obituary I thought I was reading my own. I'm a stubborn person just like him, and I win a few too many arguments.
All right. Well, it was about a little over a decade ago we invited Tom and Donna to come down to Grand Cayman with us. And they agreed to come down, and Chris and Jack also came down. You were just talking to Jack a second ago. And we went out to dinner one night to a place called the Grand Old House, had a wonderful dinner, and afterwards we went to a bar called Bed. And at the bar, we walked up to the bar and I noticed that they had a bottle of tequila on the shelf that I had tasted the year before. I said, you guys got to try some of this, because Tom was a Scotch drinker, not really a tequila drinker. So I had him pour some. And we had this tequila. Tom says, wow, this stuff is really great. I said, yeah, I know. I'm going to buy a bunch of bottles and take back to the U.S. with me, because this is the only place in the world you can actually buy this right now. So I bought a bunch of bottles, took them back to Colorado with me, and in, I believe it was 2010, when Jesse got married, Tom called me up, and he says, you know, I've got some future in-laws coming in from Texas. And I would really love it if I could pour them a bottle of that tequila that we had down in Grand Cayman. I says, well, you're in luck, because I still got a bunch of bottles of that in my cellar. And he says, could you send me a bottle? I said, Tom, of course I could send you a bottle. Well, I walked in today, and here is the bottle that I sent to Tom for Jesse's wedding. He obviously poured a fair amount of it, but didn't finish it, which I'm a little disappointed, because this is a really good tequila. It's very identifiable because of the cactus that's inside the bottle. It's called Porfidio. I sent him a bottle, and Tom was so appreciative. I said, hey, I'm sending you a bottle for Jesse's wedding. We can't make it. We understand. Enjoy the bottle with your new in-laws, with our best wishes. And of course, Tom, being who Tom was, couldn't take that just, you know, as a complete gift without some kind of reciprocation. So of course he had to send me a bottle of one of his best bottles of wine that he had in his cellar as a thank you. And that was Tom. Tom was always there. He always looked for the good stuff. He always enjoyed the good stuff, and he always had a generous heart when it came to sharing with his friends.
That's really sweet. That's a great story. Take a drink.
Not with an olive. This is for you, Tom. Great stuff.
Well, Tommy, I know since we were about 19 years old. The girls, my first wife and Dorothy and Barbara, and they all met and knew each other from work. And they had boyfriends, and one of the boyfriends was Wendell. And Wendell grew up with Tommy and Donna.
And because of that association, we all started to go out together, and we all dated at the same time. We all got married about the same time. We all had houses at the same time, and we all had our children in and around the same time. And I know Tommy for a long, long time, and certainly sad to hear about his passing. But those who know Tommy well know what a terrific sense of humor he had, and I couldn't agree more. His obituary written by his daughter was spot on, and a couple of the stories that I have to tell you about Tommy, which shows the kind of person he was. We used to go camping, and on one of the camping trips where we were feeling no pain, he decided to crack a flashlight over my head. And with that, I decided to chase him around the campsite with an axe. So we often talked about that. And then another story to tell you about his sense of humor. In 2007, I was diagnosed with leukemia. And I told Tommy that, and Tommy said to me, well, I want the boat. So that would just give you an idea of his sense of humor. He knew I had a boat. And but I have to say that a lot of times people say he was a good man or he was a good person. In Tommy's case, he certainly not only was, he still is a good person, and now he's in a better place, and he's looking up down at us from above, and we wish him up there to watch over all of our friends and relatives who have passed on, and particularly to watch over Donna and his children and grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you.
All I can say is I lost my best friend. I know he's in better hands now. He was suffering, and I really had great times with him. We would never know what he was capable of doing, and he always used to shock me about some of the things that we did together, working together, remodeling a house, or I don't really know. He just was, to me, he was one of the best guys I ever had the honor to meet, and my best friend. That's about all I can say. I love his wife, I can do anything for her, and I'm here to help him, okay? I don't know if you want to scratch that last part.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Yes.
So I met Tom back in 1963 when we went to high school together, and we had the same interests. You know, we liked to fish, we liked the outdoors, and as freshmen, of course, we didn't have our license, but we needed to do something exciting, so we decided to take a bike trip to go trout fishing at Diamond Mill Pond in Millburn. So, with bicycles packed, lunch made, we set out up Boxhall Road, we get into Millburn, we go to Diamond Mill Pond, where we find it's drained, and there's no water in it. So we have a map, and we figure out we got to go somewhere to go fishing now. So where are we going to go? So we look at the map, and we wind up in Verona Park Lake in Verona, from Diamond Mill Pond, biking all the way up. Well, not knowing.
Oh, you gotta see how long it was.
It was quite a distance. I mean, if you go on Google Earth,
probably about 10 miles.
Yeah, by bike. So about halfway there, we decided we needed lunch. So I opened up my pack or whatever I had, and I take a bologna sandwich out, you know, and on white bread, and Tommy takes out a sandwich of baked beans on white bread with butter. So I said, what do you got? He goes, look, and he shows me, and he's got white bread with baked beans smeared on one side, and he has butter on the other side, and that's his sandwich. So I can't believe it, and it wasn't bad. So we pedaled our way all the way to Verona Park Lake through, what was that? Valley Road or something? Yeah, Valley Road going up through West Orange, and we get all the way up to Verona Park Lake where they had water, but we still couldn't catch a fish. So now it's probably 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and of course our parents were probably wondering where we were. So we took a dime out of our pocket, because payphones were all over. There was no cell phone, there was nothing else. And we said, well, we'll be home for dinner. We had our fishing poles strapped across the handlebars. And as we're driving down Bloomfield Avenue, knowing we couldn't stay to the left because the cars had people in it, so we hugged the right side of the road where the cars were parked and there were no one in it. Well, not realizing that the cars were narrow and our fishing poles were wider. I think from Verona Park Lake to the Garden State Parkway, every car had scratch marks on it from the fishing pole. That was a time I'll never forget with Tommy.
That's awesome.
Tommy worked as a roofer also?
Yeah, he worked with me for 15 years.
Did he? That's right.
And he used to complain, when am I going to get a raise? I'm still on minimum wage. And that was $1 an hour back then.
It's kind of funny because when we hooked up with Wendell, we knew that his dad was in the roofing and tinning business. Well, of course, it didn't take long before Big Brother Carl took us under his wing and showed us how to use a hammer, how to set up a ladder, how to climb up a ladder with 90-pound roll, okay, how to do flat roofs and squeegee the sealer, right, the tar, and how to put gutters together, and told us,
this guy here, yeah.
And told us some very interesting jokes that are more roofer related, like get out of the gutter and be a leader, you know. Go to White Castle first and see who could eat the most.
And then down here on 35 to Gravity Hill.
Yeah, and then we used to see how many White Castles we could eat and go to 13 bumps and not get sick. And I remember Tommy not making it down all 13 bumps because his head was out the window. Yeah, I think Wendell was with us. Yeah, where's Wendell? We got to find Wendell.
Well, it's a sad day, but a lot of good memories of Tommy. He was a good guy. He was very interesting. We had a lot of fun. I think memories go back probably 45 years or so. A group of friends we used to go camping with all the time, and I have pictures to prove, but I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep those under wraps for the time being. Maybe we'll bring them out a little bit later. But we did have a good time, and we did consume our share of alcohol and have a lot of fun and a lot of good card games out in the woods. So that was the camping trip story. That was pretty good, and that's my favorite story. Tommy stands out in my mind. He never changed. He was consistent. Tommy was the same Tommy from the first day I met him all the way on through. So I like him for that.
I was going to say, I think there's more to those camping stories.
Oh, there's a lot more to those camping stories. You could have some of those corroborated by Ted, and of course Wendell was the sober overseer of most of our get-togethers there. So, but you will have to always ask Ted about who won the fight between the flashlight and the pail of soapy dishwater when they were chasing each other around. One of them has a bruise on the head, and I don't remember whether Tommy got Ted with the flashlight or whether it was the other way around. But retaliation was swift and sure with a big pail of cold soapy dishwater. So
Ted just told me it was him.
Okay. All right. Well, see you again on the next great camping trip in the sky.
Hi, Aunt Donna. Hi, Jenny and Jesse. I don't even know what I can say that isn't already in your heart. The memories of Uncle Tom are too numerous. The smiles, the laughs, the loud voice, the booming voice. Letting Thomas know that he was named for Uncle Tom. That's probably one of the biggest memories I have. And the look on my wife's face when he said it, I nearly died. Uncle Tom will always be part of my heart. He was every bit a part of my childhood. He was every great 70s toy that Hasbro and Mattel ever created that always showed up on my birthday or Christmas. The world is a less happy place today than it was a week ago. And yet, the world's a whole lot happier place. For the last 60 plus years, he's with us. And that's the most important thing to me.
But Tom, what an awesome man. Makes everybody comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. He does both, I think. That's what I'm hearing. Me, he made comfortable all the time. I think he liked me because we came from the same area. We both went to the same school, Christ the King School, Grammar School in Hillside, New Jersey. I didn't know any of that until just recently. He knew all the same priests I knew. it's just been interesting coming here and meeting some of these people here. They're all from the east, like Newark, Hillside, Union, and he's got a lovely family. The way they're doing this is beautiful. Somebody actually delivered Tom today. He's on a mantle right now with a martini glass next to him and a candle. I think everybody here today is making things easy for Donna. So I'm glad I was part of him. And she actually gave me his leather jacket, so I'll be wearing him for some time. That's all I have to say for now.
Okay, first of all, my name is Stan or Stash. Stash is Polish for Stanley. I am Tommy's first cousin. His father was my mother's brother. So we go back a long ways. Tommy and I, many summers, spent a couple of weeks together. We used to go to Pennsylvania. This was our family's big vacation, going to Pennsylvania for 2 weeks. Tommy and I both hated it, but we also had a lot of fun with each other. I suppose every summer for about 7 or 8 years, we would spend the 2 weeks together trying to figure out how we could stay out of trouble or get in trouble. Tommy was a couple of years older, a couple of years younger than I was, so he was my little cousin. But you know, when you're that age, there's a big difference, 2-3 years. But I always had fun with him. I guess the most fun we ever had was when we've gotten in trouble a few times. One summer we saved up and we walked about, let's say 15-20 blocks to go buy a BB gun. And we made the decision of which BB gun to get. We brought it home. Our parents were furious with us and refused to let us have the BB gun. But we knew where they were hiding it. So one night, we went into the room, the spare bedroom, and we got the BB gun, and we were playing around with it, and about 10,000 BBs spilled on a wooden floor, rolling all over the place, and we were like scared to death. We wound up jumping in bed, getting under the covers, and Uncle Al and Aunt Vera, Tommy's mother and father, came up and really were not happy. In fact, we were punished for about 3 days after that. There are a lot of good things we had. Uncle Al was an absolute saint. I'll tell you a funny story. Whatever age Carol Ann was, Tommy's sister, was about the age that I learned about the birds and the bees. Now, I always put Uncle Al on a pedestal. He was like a saint. And I remember when they came over, Carol Ann was just born. She might have been like 3-4 months old. And I remember looking at Uncle Al and Aunt Vera and thinking, they could have never done that. I don't know how they had this child, but it has to be a miracle because they would have never done that. I'll never forget. So I always look at when Carol Ann was born, that's about the time I learned about the birds and the bees. In the meantime, Tommy, everyone is going to miss you. You were a great guy. You were a lot of fun, sometimes a pain in the ass, but everybody loved you and you had a big heart. We're all going to miss you. Take care.
No stories, Donna, but I just love you to pieces.
I don't even remember what hurricane it was, and probably elementary school, so I can't even remember when, maybe late 80s. And Dad and Uncle Tom, and I don't know who else, were supposed to be going camping, and a hurricane hit, and our basement got flooded with about 4 inches of water. We didn't have a drain, didn't have a sump pump, didn't have anything, and it was like one of the first or second times the basement got full of water. And so Uncle Tom instead came over and helped my dad bail out the basement instead of going camping or whatever they were supposed to be doing, which was very nice, obviously, and generous in the middle of this hurricane and all we shouldn't expect. Nobody had a shop vac. I mean, it was, and while he did that and was generous and fun to do it, he also made fun of my mother for not having a squeegee mop. He said, I can't believe you don't have a squeegee mop. Those were the big things at the time, the spongy type, that she had the rag mop. And he's like, we're using nothing. We have nothing here to do this with. I think they had sponges and a regular mop. And he's like, I can't believe you don't have a squeegee. And so it was very nice that he did that. And then also very Uncle Tom-like to make fun of my mom for not having the right kind of mop to bail out a basement.
That belongs in the
But yeah, we're gonna miss him, and it was always, you knew when Uncle Tommy, when you were going someplace with Uncle Tommy, you knew it was gonna be fun. You knew you were gonna have a good time. So that's one of the main things, that I remember. But, yeah.
Well, actually, I have very fond memories, a lot of fond memories about Tom. We used to always, when I was married to Eddie, we used to come up every weekend, freeload off of the roses. And we always had good times. We'd go every summer to Lake George and go camping. I remember the one time Jess got sick and she's vomiting all this rainbow crap. But Tom had his moments when he was very unbearable. And, that was another side of Tom. He liked to jerk people's chains. And he did a really good job of it, and a lot of times you could take it with a grain of salt, and then you'd reach your boiling point and you'd explode at him, and he would back off a little bit. I even got a 3-page apology letter telling me how much he loved me, which I will cherish to this day. Well, to whatever day. But all in all, really, really good memories. He was a good guy. He didn't want you to know he was a good guy. He wanted to be in your face and giving you a hard time, and he got his jollies from seeing people squirm. I remember all the time when I was divorced, and he'd always, get after me, about how my husband is still living in the house, and when are you going to get your money, and he would always egg you on. But that was Tom, and God love him.
Great job. So, it's on you, Jenny. No, you don't have to say anything. You're fine.
Tom was my dad.
Nobody?
I'm just saying. We're all like hairstyles. Yeah. Hard to top that one.
We were very good friends with Tom, and we're here to honor his memory. We have a lot of memories through the years, and we'll always have them. We'll always keep them in our hearts. Tommy will always be with us one way or another.
No. I met Tommy last year at his Christmas party, and he was just a wonderful person, the life of the party, and a really fun guy, always joking around. It was just a pleasure. It's gone too soon.
I'm a cousin on Tom's side. I married his cousin Stosh. And but I was just saying to Donna how I don't feel like a cousin-in-law. We've been part of the same family for 48 years.
Yeah.
And all I remember about Tom is his sense of humor, his ability to tell good stories all the time.
And to have fun, right?
And to have a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed his company, and I'm sorry it's over, but I have good memories.
Really a pain in the ass. He was a lovable pain in the ass. When we first moved out there, and I was kind of innocent, and man, he took advantage. He gave me such a hard time. Made fun of me.
Oh, yeah, with the surgery?
With anything. Yeah, with anything, But he was a great guy.
Yeah.
He was a great guy.
That was Tom, wasn't it?
It was.
He wanted
really
to be in the middle of everything,
Yeah.
and he was.
And
and he had such a big heart.
Yeah, he just was all around a good guy. A lot of fun.
But, he could pick on you and pick on you and pick on you.
Yeah,
till
but then
there was
Donna
nothing.
would come to your rescue.
Tom! What he did to the girls, oh my God. They wanted something, and Tom's first reaction to everything was no. That was his first reaction.
Oh my God, he is definitely Stasha's cousin.
Yeah. His first reaction to everything was no. And they would dig in their heels and they get angry and they start fighting. I said, wait, Chris, you have to understand.
Give him a second.
Let it go, and don't say anything. He'll think it was his idea, and he'll give you whatever you want. But his first reaction was always no. And they couldn't get it there for a while. It finally kicked in, but it took a while. But and then he'd do more than you wanted. You know, like I would say, okay, Tom, let's go. I'd like to get this for the girls for Christmas. I'd like to get that for the girls for Christmas. No, they don't need that. They don't need that. And then a week before Christmas, come on, Donna, we're going shopping. And he would go, and everything that I had said I wanted to get, we got that. Plus we got twice as much. No, 3 times as much. And he just kept, you know, it just had to be his idea. It had to be his idea.
I remember when you bought him that plaque.
I think they still have it.
The plaque that hung above the fireplace.
All bust and best.
All bust and bastard. That's what
right.
you always called Tom.
That was our best friend. Yep. I think Donna still has it.
Well, Jessie wanted it.
Jessie didn't want it. She said, how could you have given my father that? Because that was your father.
What was it?
It was a wooden
I got him a wooden plaque with like a little putting green, and on it said ball, bust, and bastard.
Tom loved it. He cracked him
And Donna said, yeah, we'll hang it up on the mailbox because that is Tom.
Tom had a heart of gold, but he was a buster.
Yeah, he was a buster.
And that's what made him so endearing.
Yes, he really was a buster. I gotta tell you that. I gotta ask Donna what happened to that plaque.
I don't know.
I know it was hanging up at the fireplace not too long ago, so who knows.
All right, maybe we'll find it soon.
Hey, Donna. Donna.
She's outside. Oh, she's outside.
What happened to that plaque I gave Tom?
Yes. All busted bastard?
That's it. Whatever happened to it?
It's on the fireplace.
It's still, you can go take a picture of it. It's on the fireplace.
There was all kinds of problems with the fireplace. So.
Well, maybe that's one of the reasons I never went after Jen. I don't know. Just saying.
You mean why you wouldn't date her?
Yeah.
You made a decent choice. I mean, I really only met him a couple of times, but he was always very pleasant and nice to me.
How could I forget his bachelor party? Tommy was the first one of our group to get married. And we always used to have get-togethers and so on. And we would, carry on and get a little bit loose. So at Tommy's bachelor party, where we had over at Wendell's house, down in his cellar, we proceeded to get Tommy plastered. And we were putting vodka in his scotch and making him chug a lug. And in about a half hour, he was completely plastered. And he was laying on the cold cellar floor, and we put a rug over him. And he started to begin to want to throw up. So we had a bucket, and we gave him a bucket to throw up in. And then we had to manage the bucket. So we had a bucket brigade. Here's this picture. There it is. We had a bucket brigade. It's 9:15. He probably started about 8:30. And this is a good one. That's a classic. Okay. And we put the bucket outside, and it was freezing cold. It was January. So we put the bucket outside, and we had to take turns going to get the bucket. And Tommy would call, bucket, and we'd run out and get the bucket. See? And when I was my turn to go get the bucket and bring it back, I slipped, and I almost went on the ice, and I almost had the bucket of vomit fall on my head. But fortunately it didn't, but that was a story that, if you ask Wendell about the bucket, he'll tell you.
Okay.
So,
that's great.
Yep.
And the party started at 8. And he was barfing by 9:15.
So what happened?
We just kept saying how lucky he was to get married and gave him another drink. He got smashed.
The tradition was you had to consume alcohol at a bachelor party. That was your job until you threw up.
Until you barfed.
When you threw up, you were then forgiven. I recall this picture because I took it.
Yeah, I got it inside. It's great. So Ted said he fell on the ice and he almost dumped the bucket on his
What
head.
happened was we had to come out of the cellar, and we didn't want the bucket down the cellar because it stunk, because this was in January. So you had to go out the back cellar door to put the ice bucket. Well, there was a sheet of ice, and Ted goes running out and he goes, "Oh shit!" And he's got the bucket in his hand on his back, and he didn't want to dump it on himself. Am I right or am I wrong? Okay. And then after that, Tommy worked with me at a flower shop delivering, and the first day back he came, he says, "I'm going to kill you. Every billboard I see of scotch, I want to vomit."
That's on. You've been recorded. This is the correct order for these photographs here.
And the bottom line is he didn't drink.
Well, of course, the left is Tommy, who understood the responsibility of attending one of these bachelor parties, and he did his job, and he was a good sport, and he did not resist. Went along with the flow, which is pretty adequately described here. And, of course, the aftermath. But all was a good sport.
The middle of winter, yep, because he got married January 25th. That had to be about 2 weeks before.
Okay.
Yep.
And I remember I think your dad said, you know, you could kill a guy like that.
I'm going to ask you guys a stupid question. Unless I'm totally wrong. That's not Tom, is it? No.
What?
These pictures.
The hell that ain't.
I didn't know when he was that young, okay?
You got to remember, okay, he got married in 1970. He was 22.
I would never recognize him at all.
Oh yeah, Tommy was a skinny rail at one time.
This one I might see a little bit of resemblance, but these other two, no way in heck.
No, he barfed his brains out that night.
Well, that was part of growing up, wasn't it?
Oh, that
it was a requirement.
No,
at a bachelor party.
he started the requirement.
Okay.
He started that. After that, every guy had to get into the bucket before we figured it was over.
I used to come home, my mother used to say, "You get in your room, I'm going to get you in the morning." And it wasn't very nice.
No, that's Tommy. We had to cover him. He was shivering. He was, because we're down in a cold cellar.
Well, my story is that when the DeRosas moved in, Jessica was my son Aaron's first girlfriend, and they've been friends ever since, even though they've married other people, they're still friends, and we've been neighbors, and that's my story.
Just the occasional visiting, and he's a good guy for sure. I remember meeting him a couple times, but it's been a long time since, probably about 10 years since I last seen him.
This is from Tom's sister, this bouquet, from Tom's sister Carol. And whenever she was leaving or he was leaving, they used to play a game, like hit you, touch you, got you last. And then they would wind up running throughout the neighborhood trying to be the one to get you last. So she got him last.
Beautiful.
No, I want to do this because I don't think there's anybody in the world that he would want to have this more than you. He lost it once, and he turned heaven and earth so he could find it again. And this is one of the things that he really loved, and I want you to have it. I love you. I love you. Don't walk. Don't walk.
I'm so pissed off at him.
I know, we all are. Son of a bitch. Okay, now we have the piece de resistance. Tad is going to tell everybody exactly what Tom is like.
There ain't enough paper in the world.
Now,
Let me see if I can get some more people, but come on, start.
Silver metal briefcase. Yeah. What the heck? Opens it up. He's got the alcohol. He's got the glasses. He's got the stirs and the olives. in this nice form-fitted silver briefcase.
Oh yeah.
One of the first times I met him. He proceeded to make himself a drink. I bought Tommy this stainless steel martini glass. And I said to him, as you use this, I said, when you fall down dead drunk, you won't break the glass.
Do you remember the glass you gave him before that?
Yeah, it was a big one like this.
I have it.
Like this gigantic. That's for only having one drink. Gigantic big martini.
Now, did he ever have a martini out of it? I probably, yeah.
I'm sure he christened it.
You have to know, my mom didn't cook, and was very proud of the fact that she didn't cook. Everybody knew she didn't cook. She'd bring fruit salad places. She didn't.
She had a clean stove.
So that's right. Her kitchen was clean because she never really used.
She had 3 fire extinguishers by her stove. In the kitchen, there were 3 fire extinguishers at all times. Okay, but she never used the stove.
But she didn't. Right, it didn't matter. You didn't need them. It still looked new. So one day we were coming here for a party, probably a Christmas party, and she had made something. She found a recipe for some sort of dish, and it had meat in it. I don't know what it was, but it was in a little casserole dish. And she was very proud of herself, but kind of was like, I don't know what this is going to be like, but I cooked. Like, I cooked. Here you go. And Uncle Tommy took a sign and some forks and stuck it in on the buffet table, and it said, "Warning: this dish was made by Kathy." So that's right. And somewhere there's a picture of it I have to find.
We have to find that.
From the end of what I quoted, that's what it sounds. Yeah.
I have a couple more stories to tell you about Tommy. When he and Donna moved into this house, we all came here for like a little housewarming party, and I wrapped up in a box a special gift for him, and I kept embellishing it. I says, Tommy, when you open this gift, I want you to think of me. I put myself into this picture, into this. I want you to know I really thought long and hard about this gift. And he kept thanking me, and he opened it up. It was a picture of me. And he proceeded to hang it in his bathroom. And then that picture wound up getting passed around as a housewarming gift to all of our friends. And I wound up with it again. The other story I need to tell you about Tommy was when I was in the hospital with leukemia. He and Donna were among the very few who came to visit me a couple of times. It was really, really, really something, really special. Then I had to get a stem cell transplant. And Tommy said right up front, he says, Donna and I will get tested to be a donor for you. And he was the only one who ever said anything like that, which was remarkable. Turned out I got a separate private donor, but he stepped right up and said that he and Donna would get tested. So it just goes to show you his character, the kind of person he was. And I'm forever grateful for knowing him.
All right, I'm Tom's sister, and as a kid, he was my hero because he was 7 years older than me, and he watched out for me. And then we got to be probably enemies because we would fight over things, and he taught me all about Indian sunburns, which he practiced on me. And yeah, where they rub you and make your skin burn. We would fight over the dishes at the sink, and we had to be separated. And then we got to be friends. And we got to an age where we could party together and have a good time. And we've always had this game where we've played Got You Last, and we've done this probably up till about 10 years ago, when I think I probably was the one that couldn't get away from him because I had a hip issue, and he could race me to the car and we would play, he would get me last by like smacking me. So he was a great brother. It's hard to say goodbye. I know he loved his family and his children and his grandchildren. And I know you're in a better place, and thanks for all the memories. Thanks.
My Tom's story is, I'm Tom's brother-in-law. Is it on? Mm-hmm. Is Carol and I, Carol's his sister, we were over in New York City at a restaurant, and sitting at the bar was Tom's good friend Carl. And Judy, his wife, was an accountant for the restaurant. And Carl had not seen Carol in a number of years, so he got on his cell phone and he called Tom and he says, Tom, I'm sitting here in the restaurant with Judy and I think I see Carol, but I'm not sure of the guy she's sitting with, and it was me. And then Tom says, well, describe him. And he started describing me. And then Tom says, wait, stop. Is he wearing a plaid shirt? And Carl says, yeah. He says, that's my brother-in-law, that's Bruce. So I'm known for the plaid shirts, and that's my Tom story. So
one of the first times, actually the first time I met Tommy, we'd gone up to the Poconos to like Aunt Rita's house. They had Rosemary and Rita's house in the Poconos. And we're getting there and everybody's having a good time. We're outside. He's playing quoits and drinking, and seems like everybody's like teasing a little, Tommy style, but nice enough. A little bit later on, and at this point I was dating, we weren't married at this point. We might have been engaged, I don't really remember. But Tommy takes me aside and says, Scott, you seem like a nice guy. You hurt Christine, I'm gonna kill you.
He said that
Totally straight-faced. Totally straight-faced, as if it was just an everyday thing and he would do it. That was Tommy.
I have a lot of stories about Tom, but they're very risque, and I really can't repeat them. But we miss him very much.
Do you have risque stories about Tom too?
Yes. Wherever you may be, Tom, let's get things straightened out so when they come up to meet you, we got a place to go.
Right on.
Love you.
Okay, I would like to tell one story about Tom. We relive it a lot. Tommy, Wendell, and I used to love horseback riding. Donna did not. We were all camping down in Williamsburg. We borrowed a camper and the four of us took it down. And on the way back we stopped in Maryland and they had horseback riding nearby. So Wendell, Tommy, and I were saying, oh, let's go. And Donna, being the good sport that she was, said, you guys go. I don't really like it. Go have fun. You'll have a lot more fun without me. So we did. So we get to the horseback riding place and the guy says, okay, you three can ride. Come with me. Well, he gave us the horseback ride of our lives. We were going through hills and over ponds and cliffs on one side and ravines on another and jumping and running, and we had the best ride of our lives. When we got off the horses, we said, Donna would have killed us if she was with us. And we remember that and we always tell that story.
We had almost a symbiotic relationship. He gave me his strength, and I gave everything I had. I never wanted to be anywhere that he wasn't. I never wanted to go out with the girls or anything like that because he wasn't there. I never wanted to go to bachelorette parties or anything like that because I wanted to be with him. And, I can't say that he was perfect. He definitely wasn't. In fact, we almost broke up before we even got married. And this is kind of funny. When we were dating, I was not a horsewoman. I did not feel comfortable on a horse. And Tom loved horseback riding. Dorothy and Wendell loved horseback riding. And so I went once or twice and it was a disaster for me. And then one day, Tom told me he was going horseback riding with Wendell. And it was around November, December. He and Wendell were going horseback riding, but don't tell Dorothy because she'll want to come and it's just going to be the guys. And I had purchased prior to that a riding crop as a gift for Dorothy. And Tom, after they were finished with the ride, he called me, and I said, how was your ride? He said it was great. But Dorothy had trouble with her horse. And she got a stick to hit the car. And she kept saying, I would love to have a riding crop. And he said, I didn't know what to say. I almost said, Donna's got you one. And I just went, my jaw dropped. And it's like, Dorothy went? He said, oh shit. I said, I wouldn't have cared if Dorothy had gone. That was fine. I didn't want to go. All you could have said was, we're going, you know, and we'll see you later. But he didn't do that. And I almost broke up with him at that point because, you know, you can't tell the truth. If you can't tell the truth, just, maybe I can't trust you. But, you know, he was always like that. He had to expand a bit on everything. He didn't make $1,000 in the stock market. He made $10,000 in the stock market. He didn't, you know, get a big raise. He got a gigantic raise, you know. That was Tom. He had to embellish. Why tell the truth if a lie would suffice? And he got great enjoyment out of it. And eventually I figured, well, this is what he is, and this is how he, you know, he views life. And if that's what he needs, that's what he needs. And so I came to terms with it, but I kind of snickered behind my hand, you know.
So pretty much unconditional love.
Oh yeah.
In its purest
Oh yeah.
form.
Okay, I don't know if I can do this. Thomas Mark Duros, 1948 to 2015. Husband, father, grandfather, friend. Tom Duros, 66, passed away in the company of his family September 11, 2015, after a long illness. He died doing exactly what he loved, giving the staff of St. Luke's Hospital a hard time. All who knew Tom knew that he was a loud, funny, sarcastic, passionate, opinionated man with a huge heart, a generous nature, and the capacity to win any argument with the sheer force of his will and the tenacity to wear down any opponent no matter how effective their position. He loved his family and friends fiercely, would do anything to help you out of any situation, and he would never let you forget it. He was always the life of the party, and in the end, that's what he wanted. In accordance with his wishes, the family will forego funeral services and instead throw him a party in celebration of his life well lived. It will be held on Saturday, September 19th at 1:30 p.m. at his home in Stewartsville, New Jersey. All family and friends are encouraged to attend. He is survived by his loving wife, Donna, his two daughters, Jessica Montoya and Jennifer Duros, his beloved granddaughter and light of his life, Evelyn Rose Montoya, his nieces Dana Mixad, Catherine Udesky, and his nephew Michael Udesky, his son-in-law Lou Montoya, brother-in-law Bruce Culpin, sister-in-law Nanette Binder, and cousin-in-law Brenda Cuba. He is also survived by a large group of brothers and sisters, nieces and nephews, who may not have been related by blood, but were bound by friendship as strong as family.
That's really pretty. What's one of your favorite memories of your dad?
Oh. I don't have any particularly, like, I don't have any, like, stories that stick out, and I kind of feel weird that I don't. I kind of experienced my dad in this just continuum. He was always just Dad.
Do you think he shaped you how you are?
Oh yeah. I'm his daughter, big time. I'm much more my father's daughter than my mother's daughter. I'm hard-headed and I always have to win an argument.
I've heard that several times today.
Yeah, I don't know if I got all the best traits from him, but I got a lot of traits from him. And I don't know.
Was he Irish?
He was Irish and Italian. My grandmother was Irish and my grandfather was Northern Italian, so we weren't like Goombas, but we were.
Is there anything else you want to share?
I just miss him. I just loved him. I really did.
This is a letter from me to Tom, dated April 11th, 1988. And it's pursuant to a difference of opinion that Tommy and I had. And those of you who know Tom know he's never wrong except when he talks to me. Then he's never right. So this letter from me to him clarifies a particular situation. And it's addressed Mr. Tom DeRose, his old address, 124 Powderhorn Drive, Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Dear Doubting Thomas, to my uninformed friend, and I say that with a particular satisfactory gloat, anyone who muses that I, a college graduate with 2 degrees and a registered professional engineer and professional planner in the state of New Jersey, would relinquish 6 years in the state of New Jersey, of my life in the state of New Jersey, in an effort to dissuade misguided citizens such as yourself, must be seriously inept, and may I say should seek professional assistance. I'm referring to you, of course, of the enjoyment you stole at my expense in my own domicile regarding my potential subscription and consequent enlistment to the military of the United States, of which, I might add, I was a model soldier. Knowing your misguidedness and frivolity concerning your referenced situation, and of course knowing that I was once again correct as always, I had no recourse but to enter into a gaming wager, of which I usually abhor, as proven by my great record of success. As for the discussion over which the wager was created, I have enclosed a copy taken from the 1970 yearbook of Collier's Encyclopedia, page 585, subtitled Draft Reform. Knowing that I do not need such reference for myself, and knowing your stubbornness over matters such as these, I found it necessary to enclose a copy of said text for your perusal. Since I did not author the aforementioned text, it is not written nearly as eloquently as I would have scribed, but I do believe it renders the point. Since I am writing this dissertation and will have it published with no doubt win a Pulitzer Prize in my journalistic qualities, I will elucidate in my own personal vernacular in an effort to explain it to someone so inept as you. On December 1, a day I will remember well, since it was at that time I was in the business of an entrepreneurship to which the sale of Christmas adornments, the United States, of which I am proud to say I am a servant to this very day, has attested by being president of the Athletic Association and a member of the Recreation Committee in the unparalleled township of Delaware, held the first selective service draft lottery since 1942. 6 years before, which I might add, I was born and brought to this country a future great civic leader. All men between the ages of 19 and 26 who had not served in the military were eligible regardless of their deferment status. Men who had existing deferments could keep their same lottery numbers when the deferment expired, regardless of how long their deferment was. If a fellow such as yourself was blessed with ignorant fortuity and received a lottery number in the latter 1/3 of the birth dates, he would most likely not be called to the effort. Under those circumstances, this inept fellow had the choice of keeping his deferment or changing his draft classification to 1A. Upon the termination of the deferment, whether by choice or by time, that fellow would be eligible for the selective service for a period of 1 year. A point which this learned text failed to mention, but me with my infinite memory quickly can recall. Unless, of course, you wish to challenge me and my extraordinary recollection over such issues in another wager. In my own personal situation, the government, clearly knowing the model soldier that I would become, arranged for me a lottery number to be among the very highest, so as to hasten my becoming the ideal servant of the American people. My choice was clear, as it is always clear to a person with my upper-level mentality. I enlisted immediately in the service of the government of the United States and the state of New Jersey, rather than wait for 3 long years before the American people had the benefit of my extraordinary capabilities. You, on the other hand, took the easy alternative and turned your back on the people of America and deprived them of a person of your such qualities as chief latrine keeper and custodial superintendent. As I continue ever forward in my eloquence, I do recall through my distinguished recount of detail that the wager in question, although I have now settled such question both accurately and completely, as only a man of my caliber can so poignantly do, was to be via a volume of spirits first invented and so properly distilled by those people of the Scottish descent. Unless, of course, you were too inebriated at the occasion to recall the simplest of details. Since I am a profound connoisseur of such spirits, and your palate has been seriously damaged, if not destroyed, by consuming vast quantities of snake oils and the like, I think it absolute that I choose the selection. The choice, of course, is the only Scotch smooth and sufficiently worthy to touch my discriminating palate. Therefore, the single, sole, and exclusive choice shall be that spirit sold under the trade name of Chevis Regal. Since I will be forced to share this volume of spirits with you, because I expect you to deliver it to me personally, along with your apology for trying to test my superb memory, and because I yearn to gloat over the outcome of this historic event for many years to come, and because your personal consumption of similar spirits, although ever so inferior, is well known not only to me, but to all the establishments of such sales places throughout the greater Phillipsburg area and most of eastern Pennsylvania, as evidenced by your robust girth and the stamina and endurance of your right arm. I suggest and advise that the quantity of such spirits shall be in the volume of 1 U.S. gallon or metric equivalent. In closing, I take great satisfaction in knowing that my infallible self is once again correct and I can relax in complete serenity while embellishing for the present time in a lesser brand of spirits while my palate eagerly awaits a more appetizing selection. Yours very true, the ever infallible and correct Theodore F. Superior, P.E.P.P. P.S. Please be expeditious. Time will not mitigate, but only cultivate the pleasure I enjoy regarding this happening. P.S. again. As for your contemporary who guided you in your interpretation of the 1970 draft lottery, I suggest he also seek professional assistance, since too many people of this lower level of intellect are destroying our great country, of which I am an ideal citizen. Now, I attached the document from Collier's, and it said men with deferments were not immediately affected by the lottery, but they will keep the number they received in this drawing when the deferments run out. And it says, furthermore, between 19 and 26 years old. So Tommy, ever to never be outdone, drafted me a letter, and it said, to my verbose friend. Imagine that. It says, it is with great pleasure that I received your correspondence of April 2, 1988, and with even more pleasure that I read your Norm Crosby's missive. Thank you for citing your hard-won credentials, which obviously qualify you to build a house, but unfortunately not to provide you with any skills in the use of the English language. I submit the aforementioned correspondence, nor any abilities to document your case. While it is understandable that people of your position in life attach great credibility to an obscure yearbook from a supermarket encyclopedia, I submit to you, my friend, that Collier's has only the imprimatur of leading scholars of the Flush Bottom, Mississippi Board of Education. While most people of little knowledge would be swayed by your personal or your pseudo-authoritative attachment, of course I am not. Rather than overtax your typographical skills with rebuttal to my rebuttal, upon your receipt of your letter, I immediately sent a telegram to a close personal friend, former Secretary of Defense Thomas S. Gates, Jr. during the subsequent competition, he has kindly condescended to forward a copy to you of the congressional record of March 3rd, 1970, during which the subject lottery was debated and confirming the facts stated to you by me, your estimated friend, at our last meeting. So, even though I know I was right, Tommy knows he was right too. So. That was it. So, I'm surprised I still had this letter. Incredible.